JBN, we keep you informed. 2 dead, 2 injured in Kingston 20 shooting. 2 men were murdered this morning, Sunday, March 22, in the vicinity of Simmons Park in Kingston 20. They have been identified as Meshach Nanny Smith of a Lime Tree Kingston 20 address and a 31-year-old Krishma Idol, also known as Loco, who is from Simmons Park. Both men were shot several times. The shooting happened at approximately 9:17 a.m. According to information received, 2 others were also injured during the incident. 1 person was shot in the leg while the other received gunshots all over the body. Both are in hospital where the person shot multiple times is said to be in critical condition. Truck driver dies after crashing into Kristiana house. A truck driver died and a family in Kristiana, Manchester escaped unscathed in a freak accident in which the driver crashed into their home on Asson Lane in the parish on Friday. 3 other men who were aboard the truck sustained injuries. Police reports indicate that about 2 p.m., Calvin Martin of Silent Hill District in the parish was driving a motor truck when he allegedly lost control of the vehicle. The truck then careened off the roadway and crashed into a concrete house, the police reported. According to the police, Martin and one of the other men were trapped in the vehicle and had to be cut out by the Kristiana Fire Department. The other 2 men reportedly jumped from the vehicle and sustained injuries. Martin was pronounced dead at hospital, while the others were admitted for treatment, the police said. Nurses President urges public to shun misinformation amid COVID-19 scare. Carmen Johnson, president of the Jamaica Nurses Association, NAJ, is imploring Jamaicans to not discriminate against nurses during the fight against COVID-19 due to misinformation. We want to say to the populace to not use this and create any other negative resentment towards our nurses or want to shun them more. We're still trying to be safe and we're still trying to ensure that the rest of the populace is safe and that they are cared for, she said, while adding that the inaccuracies that were reported, which stated that nurses and doctors have tested positive for COVID-19, could not have come at a more unfortunate time. It is a very unfortunate occurrence at a time when we are still trying to get our nurses to be a bit more comfortable and responsive in saying that they will participate in the cure of these patients because, as you all know, the fear of the unknown still lingers and we don't know how it will play out. Yes, we are aware that we have had members who have had to work with patients who were diagnosed and who were quarantined, but to date they have not depicted any signs or symptoms and they continue to do well. The NAJ and our members are not aware at this time of any nurse who has been tested positive for COVID-19, she said. 140 Cuban medical professionals arrive in Jamaica. 140 medical professionals arrived into the island on Saturday from Cuba to further bolster Jamaica's response to the outbreak of COVID-19. The practitioners arrived at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston at 11:30 a.m. Health Minister Christopher Tufton, who was at the airport to welcome the group, said he was encouraged by the move. Thank you, Cuba, for your quick response to our request for support against COVID-19. Thanks to the local health team who coordinated to get this mission here in just over a month, said the minister. We are here to support the Jamaican people. Thank you so much for being here with us, said a senior spokesperson for the group of health officials who arrived at the airport to loud applause. Officials from the Ministry of Health and Wellness said the medical practitioners are expected to get to work in a matter of weeks as the Cuban professionals will be quarantined for 14 days and then deployed across hospitals island-wide. Prime Minister Andrew Holness earlier this week announced that from March 21 at 11:59 p.m., the country's air and seaports will be closed to incoming traffic for 2 weeks. Other restrictions announced by the government include closing bars and restaurants, work-from-home policy for non-essential workers, and gatherings limited to less than 20 people. Global cases of the coronavirus pandemic have reached almost 290,000, and deaths worldwide have reached almost 12,000. Scavengers urge to be COVID-19 cautious. Audley Gordon, Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, is warning scavengers who sort and collect things for personal use or resale from the landfill at Retirement in St. James to stay away from the area or use appropriate tools to search to protect themselves from the COVID-19 disease. I'm speaking to you here in retirement, but I'm equally speaking to the entire Jamaica in terms of our landfills. Because we have people that attend all of our landfills and do the same thing that you do, and we want them to know that we are carrying things into the landfill that could infect them at this time, and we don't want them to get infected, said Gordon during his visit to the area on Wednesday. The meeting came in the wake of reports that the COVID-19, which has so far caused the death of one person in Jamaica, was detected in St. James. You are in a very delicate position in that you will, from time to time, search what comes on the trucks, and you do that without even having proper gear, so you expose your entire self to the danger, said Gordon. He further cautioned that given the rapid spread of the virus globally, every effort should be made to limit the scope for the spread of the virus. You have to wash your hands regularly with soap. I know that you're not that poor. You can buy a little bleach, little alcohol, little sanitizer, buy it and use it regularly, and get some gloves. And don't go and dip up in the garbage because you don't know when a piece of tissue or one of the dust masks or a napkin or a wipe with the virus will come into contact with your hand when you're searching, continued Gordon. That virus can live for hours, and so when it arrives at the landfill, there's a good chance that it arrives here alive and well and can cause people to become infected, he added. JUTC revenue dips sharply in wake of virus. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company Limited, JUTC, is reporting a 30% decline in revenues as the number of people using public transportation shrinks daily. Schools and universities have closed since March 13. At the same time, an increasing number of employees have started to work from home as measures have been introduced to contain the spread of COVID-19. Prior to the onset of COVID-19 in Jamaica, more than 200,000 people within the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region, Spanish Town and Portmore travel on the JUTC buses daily. In an interview on Friday, JUTC Deputy Managing Director of Operations, Godfrey Sterling, said that the company was running at about 60 to 70% of ridership. Up to Friday, Jamaica recorded more than a dozen confirmed cases of COVID-19 and one death. Sterling maintained that the state-owned bus company does not operate predominantly for profit, but more so the provision of an essential service. What we are looking at in terms of revenue is about a 30% reduction across the board, route by route, he said. Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Monday issued a raft of restrictions on public gatherings and public transport during a COVID-19 press conference. Under the order, which will last initially for a week, JUTC is required to only carry seated passengers. Holness also asked public and the private sector employees to allow non-essential workers to work from home. After the declaration of seated passengers only, we are down to about 40 to 60%, Sterling said. They explained that this week, daily ridership was varied, possibly based on how employers advised employees to work, and the company adjusted the number of active buses accordingly. Routes primarily on the eastern belt of the island, such as Bull Bay, Augustown, and Papine, have seen the highest decline. They service the area that can be described as a university community, so the universities as well as the high schools along Hope Road have the bulk of the passengers on those routes. They are students and they're home, so that's the biggest downfall that we have, Sterling explained. JUTC has allowed some of its staff to work from home and has also moved into a shift system in light of the reduced operations. Haven's Fesco gas station opened for business 1 month after Delhi fire. 1 month after a massive fire which resulted in the death of 59-year-old mechanic Daniel Farquharson, the injuring of several people, and approximately $100 million in damage, the Haven's Fesco gas station has reopened. The gas station, located at the intersection of Caledonia, Manchester, and Perth Roads in Mandeville, had sparked widespread debate about how gas stations are being operated after fire gutted a section of the facility on Friday, February 21. When the facility was visited on Sunday afternoon, 3 pump attendants were observed wearing gloves and serving customers. A security guard was also seen instructing motorists to approach the gas pumps from one direction. One of the proprietors of Haven's Fesco, Nathan Haven, declined to comment on the reopening of the gas station, but confirmed that the facility was reopened on Sunday. A resident of Mandeville, Carl Powell, upon seeing the gas station back in operation, said that he was absolutely proud. Uncle Trevor is back. I am proud because of the person that Mr. Trevor Haven is. The fact that he is a justice of the peace, a decent man, and is one who is looked upon and a person of high moral integrity. I know that after all that he has been through, this just makes us feel good to know that he's back on his feet, said Powell. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember, subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.